Hey, can you see that okay, Vladimir? On the screen, so hopefully it should be the communication assignment that you can see.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so if we think to the examples or the information from the resources and e-learning videos that you've managed to look at. So the first question is, how do you build and manage an effective relationship with customers through successful communication? So how do you think communication can help you build relationships with clients and customers?
We need to communicate on time.
Yeah.
And also we need to ask for feedback. We need to use the proper tools to get the right communication as well.
Use proper tools and so the right styles of communication for the right people and the right situation. So for your staff that you look after, Vladimir, you might choose to communicate or vary your or adapt slightly different approaches depending on who they are, to get the best out of them. Or you might choose to use a different communication technique depending on what the situation is. For example, if something's really, really important and urgent, your chances are you'll probably speak to them about it face to face.
Yes.
As soon as possible, so you can engage their reaction and you can communicate effectively. Whereas as information is important, but it isn't so pressing in terms of time, you might phone them or you might give them an email so they can open that email in their own time. So you understand that different situations and different approaches can be used in different situations depending on how important it is, what the person is, and what timeline you've got in place as well. So to communicate ongoing and ask for feedback, to use proper tools and right stars. The right situations. So it's like anything, isn't it? When you first start working with someone, if you were to take on a new member of staff, you'd probably want to get to know them a little bit first, spend a little bit of time with them, have some meetings with them, try and understand what they're like as a person, so you can then get the best out of them.
Yes, normally the training is face-to-face, personal.
Excellent. So you can develop a rapport and an understanding of what that person's like, so how they learn, what motivates them, and you'll probably share some things with yourself, so they can learn about you as well. You just learn and develop a style of how you're going to get on, and then from that, once you learn, you can then make sure that there's very much ongoing communication to make sure that that stays in place and you build that trust and communication all the time. Okay, again, how do you select the most appropriate medium and manner to communicate with customers? So it's as we've just said, so different scenarios and different people will require different styles. Yeah. Hey, Vladimir, can you give an example of where you've adapted your style of communication to suit your audience? So where you might have done something different or done something specific with when training somebody. If you need to do something else, if there's staff that you manage with where there's a language barrier, for example, have you changed the way you train them?
Yes, in this environment, we have many people from different countries, and sometimes the language is quite difficult to understand between each other. But we use medium like Google Translate.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, excellent.
To help in between our communication.
Google Translate to get across what instructions and messages and things like that you want them to understand.
Yes.
Is it understand they have a clear understanding of what you would like them to do in order to do it properly?
So the another option is to try to find another person who speaks English and can help to translate to that person as well.
Okay, to mediate in the conversation.
Yes.
Okay. Vladimir, can you give an example of where you've chaired a meeting? So that could be if you do handovers, or you brief the staff at the beginning or the end of the day at all on what they need to do. Is that something you do at all?
Well, normally after finish our normal hours, and in this particular time, we meet with my coordinators.
Yeah.
Ask them how's the job today, any complaint, any issues we can resolve together or something like that.
Okay, so when you're speaking to your staff, Vladimir, how do you make sure that everybody contributes and understands what you're saying? Do you ask them for feedback? Do you ask them for ideas?
Yes, we ask if everybody is clear, or if anyone need more explanation about the topics we are discussing at that particular moment.
Yeah.
Yes, basically is that.
Okay. Handovers. So when do you normally choose to speak to your staff, Vladimir? Do you try and speak to everybody as they come in the morning?
Normally, yeah, every day at the beginning of before start our journey and after that. So normally it's 2 times a week. No,
Okay.
sorry, 2 times a day.
Okay. So one at the start and then one at the end, or one in the middle to see how it's going?
So, no. When I saw something is not going well, yes, I told to the person. But normally it's at the beginning and at the end of the journey.
Okay. And do you ever have any meetings with your line managers, Vladimir, as well, or any?
With my line manager, we have meetings every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Yes.
Vladimir, can you think of any examples of where you've had a challenging conversation, when you've had a difficult conversation with a member of staff or a manager or with a client, where they've wanted you or you've wanted them to do something and it's not been possible, or they've wanted you to do something and it's not been possible, for example? How have you gotten around that?
For example, last week, was our resident, and this particular time is like hotel.
Yeah.
We receive customers, and at this particular time, we receive group of childs to come into summer school course that the Imperial offer to them. A majority of them is childs, let me say 12, 15 years, something like that, manage the age. And last week, one of the groups left the building, like departure, and we found many items like lost property in the rooms. Yeah, we keep everything, we mark, and we keep in the safe place everything. But one of the childs lost. Apparently, he said he lost the trainer. And he was very angry with us because they say this quite expensive trainer, and we explained everything that we not found nothing like that. Well, everything stayed like that. After that, the father contact us and offer us apologize because the guy found the training, or one of the friends found the training in his room. So apparently he sleep in one of that rooms and left the training there. And that particular time it was very difficult with us because the guy was very angry with us and said, you start stealing my personal item or something like that. But we caught the guy and everything going well with him.
Okay, so there was a good outcome in the end. He realised he'd made a mistake and he apologised.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Okay, Vladimir, next, so we've already spoken about feedback a little bit. What's your understanding of constructive feedback? So what do you think constructive feedback is?
It's like receive information to improve our job, to increase the productivity in our job. It's something like that.
That's it. To improve jobs, sometimes improve productivity. Yeah, so constructive feedback might be, it might not necessarily be really positive. So you might give positive feedback to staff and say, you know, well done, you've done a good job. Constructive feedback might be if you've got a new member of staff and they've not done a task quite right, you might say to them, you've not, you know, well done for completing the task, first and foremost, it's your first time doing it. You've not done it quite the way we need to do it. So I'm gonna show you again, or I might give you more training so you can improve. But well done for doing it, and you know you'll do better next time. So it's basically an example of where you can stake, and it's, you know, it's constructive, not constructive criticism and stuff, but it's a constructive process where there's a positive outcome.
Yeah, for example, today we are very busy. And not have enough staff today because some of them start holidays. Two of them call me and say, no, I'm feeling well today. And we have plenty job to do. But after that, within a few minutes ago, after that, I meet with them and I say, thank you very much for great job today. I expect everything going well today for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And put on the fridge plenty bottle of water and offer to each one very cold water today and say thank you very much for your hard job today. That happened today, a few minutes ago.
Wow. Positive outcome. Okay, next question, Vladimir, is evaluate your ability to build rapport with an audience, including customers. So how good are you at building rapport with people? So getting to know people and understanding how they work and what motivates them, what's important to them. You mentioned before, so it's something you do with all of your staff, and when you get a new member of staff, you get to know them a little bit first. Why do you think that's important to get to know your staff?
in this case, in my job, the most important thing is to know the health and safety regulation. So we explain everything. We talking face to face, and we explain to them with examples. And I have some videos here to make sure the people can understand that the topic we discuss at that particular moment.
Yeah. Right. Okay, next, Vladimir, the question is, in what ways can rapport be negatively and positively impacted by different communication approaches? So can you think of an example where the type of how you've chosen to communicate with someone has been really positive and there's been a good outcome? And can you also think of an example of where how you've chosen to communicate has had a direct effect on the outcome?
For example, today one of my coordinators was absent because she had a medical appointment. Previously, I will training one of the ladies in case one of my coordinators not coming. She had the capacity to cover one of them. And today is the turn to that lady to start the coordinator job.
Yeah.
And I can see today the training that she received a few weeks ago. Today she reflects, she understands, and doing everything well. Like she accepts the expectation that I have today, because we training properly and compare that she received correctly the information that we submit to her. So she's doing excellent job today.
Excellent. So you find another member of staff to fulfill that role?
Yeah.
And okay, excellent. When you take meetings, Vladimir, when you do the handover or the briefings at the start of the day with the staff, do you do them with the staff individually, one by one, or do you do them all as a team?
Depend. If you have enough time, I prefer to go by one.
Yeah.
But if you know, we meet together when in groups.
Yeah. Okay, so when you meet together in a group, how do you make sure that everybody has the opportunity to speak and give feedback? So how do you make sure everybody is clear and they understand on what they need to do?
I think because at the end I ask questions. I choose one of them and I question about the topic that we comment in that meeting. If you one of them answer correctly, that means that she received the appropriate training and the communication was well. That's right.
Okay, excellent. Awesome. So these catch-ups at the start of the day, Vladimir, and at the end, they're really important, aren't they? Not only from a business perspective, so you can understand what's going on, but so that you can look after your staff as well. For example, if a member of staff comes in the morning and they look sad or they look upset, then you'll be able to speak to them about that and hopefully help them, personally. So you're treating them as a person, not just an employee.
Yeah, true.
Okay. We're just going to talk about there's a feedback model, Vladimir, called the SBI model. And that stands for situation, behavior, impact.
Okay.
I'm going to write that down. So it's called situational, behavior, impact. And what it suggests is that the way you talk to somebody or the way you communicate will have a very specific outcome, or it can decide upon on how the outcome is perceived. For example, if at the start of the day you meet a member of staff and you say, how are you today? I hope you're doing okay. How's your family? Is everything okay? You can speak to me about everything. Here's what we need to do today, and you're supportive and do what you can to get through it. And then at the end, as you said, you've done a really good job today, good work. Then you're gonna, you've communicated clearly and you've been positive and you've been nice to them. And they've done all the jobs. They probably felt motivated as a result of that communication to do a good job. So it has a positive impact on them. Now, if a member of staff was to come in, and you might say to them, you might not be so nice. You might not say good morning and any of this kind of stuff. They might just come in and say, right, you need to do all these jobs and you need to do them now and you need to do them really well. Otherwise, you're going to be on a disciplinary. I'm sure you don't do that. However, if you did do that, the chances are they would still get all of the jobs done to the same standard, but the outcome is that they're not going to feel good about it. So it's a far-fetched example because obviously you're never going to do that. However, it is an example of how you communicate and how you treat somebody. The end goal might be, or the end objective might still be met, but it's going to have an impact on the culture of the team and the working environment and your relationship with them. So your behavior is going to have an impact on the situation. That's basically what the model is about.
Sure. Totally agree with you. Yeah.
So that's where we think about leadership styles. So you might adopt different leadership styles depending on what you want to get done. You might recognize different learning styles in learners, but you're always adopting a different approach and adapting your approach to a situation or a person to get the best out of that situation. That's where you use your experience and knowledge of the job to get the best out of your team, and to know how to do that. Ultimately, no manager will probably only ever use, well, they might, but it's unlikely they'll only ever use one kind of style of leadership. The chances are they'll use different leadership and coaching styles to get the best out of individuals within their team, because people are different, and you need to treat. You don't necessarily need to treat everybody the same, but you do need to treat everybody fairly, with respect. A little bit like we spoke about before with the managing self assignments as well. We spoke about equality and fairness.
Especially when we have people with different character.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. There's lots of different people within the business, and that's how it is. It's up to you to learn how to manage them effectively to get the best collective performance out of the team. Okay, excellent. Okay, so that's the communication assignment completed, Vladimir. So where you've used the videos and the resources from session 3 e-learning, you've been able to understand a little bit more about communication, why it's important, feedback. So I'm going to save this.